Now follow with me here. The reason there are a certain number of books in the Tanakh, in the Old Testament, also the Apocrypha, is because when the Jews were sent into exile, they felt a urgent need to annotate who they are and what they were and who God in their mind is. So you have the composition of divinity in the books, and that we're just going to lightly skip some stones over this, but you need to know the basics. You know, the Tanakh, the Torah, are the first 5 books of the Old Testament. We know this: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers. Not in that order. They were written in 538 to 332 BC, and those stories were controlled by rabbis when they returned to build the Second Temple in Jerusalem after being exiled in Babylon. So we're talking about stories that supposedly began around 2000 BC and weren't written about until almost over 1500 years later. And then you have Judges, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings. They form the history of Israel, the Deuteronomic history. And remember, many of our laws are from Deuteronomy still today. And they were written around the same earlier time, the 6th century BC, while they were in Babylon. And the 2 books of Chronicles are almost tautological to the Pentateuch and Deuteronomic history. So, you know, Deuteronomy is a very important book, as it's constantly referred to. And then you had Ezra and Nehemiah, and they were written about around 280 BC, a long time after they supposedly existed. And then you have the Apocrypha, where the books of the Maccabees are included, and that's mostly for Catholics. And then you have Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and then the 12 minor prophets, written sometime around the 6th century BC. And then Jonah and Daniel were written much later than that. They are 2 of the oldest books in the Bible. And don't forget, there were wisdom books also. And these are all books, and all, almost every book of the Old Testament mentions God, with the exception of Esther and Ruth, who do not mention God or ask God to have any play in what they're doing. Most of these books are explaining and trying to, fill out who God is and what our relationship is with Him. You know, Job, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Psalms, the Song of Solomon, Proverbs, mostly were written at a time when the Greeks were occupying the Holy Land. But they were written matter-of-factly, and they don't address the big question: is what is the meaning of my life? And is there a God? And a big question is, if there's a God, but there's no eternal life for my soul, then what? That'll keep you awake at night.